let's get into your takes about the game. And leading us off is from Syracuse Superfan. Overall, the offense did well against an SEC team. Willis had an incredible game with 3 touchdowns, showing speed and strength, as well as Cook, referring to Jonte Cook, showing his ability to get open and make plays with a touchdown. Also, the biggest issue, once again, is the lack of proper tackling on defense. I agree with everything you said there, Syracuse Superfan. Jonte Cook, he certainly looked good, but I want to talk more about Yasin Willis, the true sophomore running back for Syracuse football. I think offense, defense, special teams, Yasin Willis was the best player on the field for Syracuse football against Tennessee. And I got to be honest with you. Okay, I had my doubts about Yasin Willis and whether or not he was truly ready to be a workhorse running back. I'm not afraid to admit it. Okay, I'm not afraid to admit it. Yasin Willis was phenomenal against Tennessee. And I don't necessarily think, and I've said this already about Steve Angeli on yesterday's post-game show, the numbers don't really do Yasin Willis justice. Only 4 yards a carry is a little bit deceiving because he made Tennessee work. Meaning he did literally everything to get the 90 yards that he did get on the ground. Also, obviously had 3 rushing touchdowns. I've gotten to the point with Yasin Willis where I think he might be all ACC. And it might happen as soon as this season. He is an excellent running back for Syracuse football. And I mentioned it on yesterday's postgame. The problem with Syracuse yesterday was not, oh man, do they miss LaQuint Allen? And that's no shot against LaQuint Allen. Phenomenal player. But Syracuse at running back with Yasin Willis and to a lesser extent, Will Nixon as well, I think they're going to be okay in that department. And Fran Brown, head coach of Syracuse, he even said post-game, referring to Yasin Willis, I think he's the best player on the team from an offensive perspective. I think he might be the best player on the team, period. At least from yesterday, he looked like the best player on the team. I think Syracuse is a good one in Yasin Willis, just like how LaQuint Allen didn't make us necessarily miss Sean Tucker. I think Yasin Willis isn't going to necessarily make us miss LaQuint Allen, meaning Syracuse has done an excellent job of finding and developing running backs out of high school. That's a shout out to all the different regimes that have come through Syracuse. They have seemed to find really, really good running backs. As far as the defense, we're actually going to get to that next right now with Orange in the buff. Can't tackle. That's a problem. Very simple statement, but yeah, tackling a big problem for Syracuse once again. And it's not just the missed tackles, because as Derek McDonald actually pointed out, every team is going to miss tackles. The guys on offense are literally getting paid to occasionally break a tackle, right? Both sides getting paid here. This is the new world that we're living in college football and in college sports in general. But it's the impact of the missed tackles. Because according to Pro Football Focus, Syracuse in the game against Tennessee only missed 8 tackles. That's not that bad, actually. 8 tackles for a whole game against a team like Tennessee. If you told me before the game that that's how many missed tackles they were going to have, I can live with it. Last year in the season opener against Ohio, Syracuse's defense missed 19 tackles, to put it into perspective there. So 8 missed tackles is not that bad. But look, as Derek McDonald also said post-game, if you miss a tackle, someone else should be there ready to clean it up. And he's 100% right. We're going to address Derek McDonald in just a moment here. But again, it's the impactful missed tackles. One of the first ones of the game, Peyton Lewis's touchdown, he drives Derek McDonald into the end zone. It was the first Tennessee touchdown of the game. You can go back and look it up. Peyton Lewis just goes right at Derek McDonald. And look, if that was Yasin Willis, which Yasin Willis did at times, we would be praising Yasin Willis for breaking that tackle and breaking the plane for a touchdown. In fact, his first carry of the game, he runs a guy over. But when it's Syracuse on defense, you're expected to be able to meet someone in the hole and actually be able to push him back. Because even though Derek McDonald's saying that the other team gets paid too, well, you're getting paid as well. You're allowed to make a play on the goal line there and push Peyton Lewis back. He didn't. That missed tackle directly led to a touchdown. That's an impactful missed tackle. And speaking of Derek McDonald, look, I'm rooting for him. I really am. I hope he can finally put it all together. He did not have a good game against Tennessee. And I'm just waiting for Derek McDonald to finally blossom. It has not happened yet. And I'm just losing faith that he is ever going to eventually blossom. Another impactful missed tackle. We talked about this post-game, end of the first half. Both Deion Tank Wilson and Devin Grant on Deshaun Bishop. Instead of a tackle for loss or perhaps just no gain, it turns into a 47-yard run for Tennessee, and it leads to Tennessee at the end of the first half getting a touchdown to put them up 31-14. If Syracuse even holds Tennessee to a field goal on that drive, they get the ball to start the second half, only down 2 possessions. And they were actually in good position where on that 2nd and 10 play, if either Wilson or Grant could make the tackle on Deshaun Bishop, and I get Deshaun Bishop, excellent player, but you have to be able to wrap up and make a tackle, because if they did in that scenario there, Syracuse might have been able to put up some points more at the end of the first half. Maybe they could have made it a 7, or they were down, 24-14 at that point? So maybe they could have made it a 7-point game, even maybe a 3-point game. You never really know at that point what it could have done. Instead, Tennessee, they get that 47-yard run. They score a touchdown.